Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave. I'm Dave Martin. I'm the owner of Martin's Auto Repair down in Central Phoenix.
And I'm Glenn Hayward, the proud owner of GoodWorks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And we are here changing the perception of the auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and under the hood.
In these podcasts, we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of owning a small business in the auto repair industry from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started.
Hello out there, all you podcast fans. This is Glen Hayward, the proud owner of GoodWorks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona. And we are here with Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave. We're a very special guest. They run the meeting, and we're going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Dave Martin from Martin's Auto Repair. We're down in Central Phoenix. Been in the Neptune area since 1971.
Where is it sunny?
Well,
down there?
yes, I believe it's really sunny and it's just as hot.
Hotter than Blade.
Yeah, out in Blazers.
And Lee?
We want to be with Accurate Automotive, and we are in sunny Mesa. So this is the Lexus shopper from Chesapeake with that. That is correct.
It's not the first Lisa shopper from Phoenix.
Yeah, about 4 miles away. So,
So, Lee, recently, it's hotter than blazes out there right now. It's brutal, right?
no question.
And you had just done a little bit of marketing for your customers to let them know that, hey, we're running a special.
Yeah.
And it was AC service, right?
Correct.
And what did you learn from that from your wife?
Lord have mercy.
Oh, you gotta be careful what you share. Well, I gotta be honest with you guys, it was incredible. As we were sitting there talking, and we wanted to run something as far as a special for AC service, because it was very apropos at this time of year. So
Absolutely.
and
Almost any time of year.
yeah, no doubt. And Kelly, looked at me and she goes, "Okay, you're asking me to do and put together a special for AC service, and I've been in the business for 40 years." She goes, I don't know what AC service is. What's that even mean?" And I looked at her and I looked at her and I went, "Come on, babe, you know what that means. You know what I mean? That means, an AC service." She looks at me, she goes, No, it's not going to flow. What is an AC service? What is a customer going to get for an AC service? I don't care if you give me $25, I know what I'm getting. I went, oh, it was really quite a big perspective. It took me completely off guard.
Well, we live in this industry, so we know, we have a preconceived idea. We know exactly what it is.
We do.
In this room, there's 3 guys here that have 140 years in automotive experience. That's hard to believe, but we've all been doing this for a long, long time, right?
Yeah.
And so we know what it is.
Right.
But to sit there and define it and describe it, I know Lee just a few minutes ago before we started the podcast. So what's an AC check to you, Dave? What's an AC check to you, Glenn? We all mentioned different things, but none of them were completely comprehensive. So when you're going to put something in writing, and you're going to tell the customer, this is what you're going to get. We're going to check the temperature of your dogs. We're going to check your condensing fan, your cooling fan on your car, your blower fan that's inside your car. We're going to check the evaporator temperature. We're going to check the temperature of your condenser. We're going to check all these different components that are there to make sure that your compressor is operating correctly, that it's compressing the gas, making it everything full. We also have an expansion valve there. We've got so many components that are in an AC system. We do have ways of checking those things. We can look at pressure. We can look at temperature. We can look at operation. And these are things that we should be all inclusive. We don't do it to blow the customer away. Say, oh my God, there was this many components. And many cars have 2 of them. If you have a Suburban or a van or something, you've got another AC evaporator in the back and another blower and another temperature control. And duct motors that open and close the ducts and let more cold air, more warm air to blend the air. All those things are all part of the AC system. It's air conditioning. It doesn't mean cold.
Right.
It just means it's the air conditioning. It's what's conditioning the air inside of your vehicle.
As well as even the visual inspections, just like you're talking about, that we could do as far as some of the basics. Your belts, hoses. Do you have the
fan motor.
Absolutely.
The fan motor to the condenser. As it evacuates, believe me, your air's done.
Absolutely. Well, how about, have you ever gone into a car and you see all those air fresheners stuck?
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't blow, you couldn't blow, no matter what, So, I mean, it's some of the little things that are actually being done, but we never talk about it. And I'm certain that Kelly's not the only one that ever had that question. Well,
And I have to admit, I had to learn the same thing that you learned with acronyms that we use in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
I had a marketing person that was phoning, and when I wanted to put an ad out or put some kind of special or whatever we were doing, and I would give her the acronym and oh, just do this, and she go, no, that's not what. And so you have to make it comprehensive, right? People understand it. She said, I don't understand it, but I've been around you a long time. Nobody else is going to understand. So why put an ad out? And why try to give somebody information that they have no clue what you're trying to tell them?
Yeah. Now, actually, over the years, the terminology of AC has changed. They call it climate control, right? Because the climate control does a whole lot of different things than just the AC. It's just about really thinking about making the car cold. But the climate control, like I mentioned before, all the different components that they've implemented to open and close ducts, control this and move the air more to the back, and
all the computer controlled now.
all computer control, and to check all of that stuff out, we have to actually put a machine on the thing and see if there's any goes in the system, because those little duct motors that open and close are all computer controlled too. That's right, when that duct is opening all the way, closing all the way. You may not have a bad compressor, you may not have a bad condenser, you may not have a bad blower fan. You may have a problem that where those little ducts aren't opening and closing completely, or the course of what they're being commanded to do by the control.
And all of that gets determined from the basic starting point of an AC service. Yeah. Because Kelly said to me, she goes, on an AC service, is there fuel involved? Do you get fuel? And I said, well, not always, not necessarily. Just to your point, doesn't always necessarily need that. But at the same token, if you did do an AC service, you know what I mean, and you do involve free, you know what I mean? Right. Now, what do you have to do in order to add or subtract the proper amount of free?
Turn it completely down to nothing and fill it with the proper amount.
But you guys,
It's not the pound here and there.
You touched on something that I want to make clear here, because Glenn said it earlier too. The AC systems have changed.
Absolutely.
We used to call them AC, now we call them right? But how many times did either one of you go out in front of your shop with a set of gauges and a can of Freon and charge somebody's car? And wham, bam, like you were done. You were done.
And you're we're trying to do it by looking at the pressure. I like that pressure. Yeah. Or a cycle, because we're that smart.
What about a site class?
Oh, yeah, of course.
The bubbles are a site class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we used to do that.
There was the bubble, you was in trouble.
Yeah. So then, then we went to all 134. Right. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 8.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, YF. And
March 12th.
And
now they're inventing another one.
Yeah. Well, in this one that they're doing now is a lot more expensive.
Oh, it's 10 times more expensive.
Right, and it takes 10 times longer.
And you know what? It is so phenomenal. It uses, I won't say it uses much less refrigerant.
Yeah.
I mean,
About 30%
less. Yeah, these systems are not even full pound.
1 pound, 1.0.
49.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. You know what? You really have to know. I mean, you have to know what Freon is in that vehicle, because people think, well, that's only the new cars. No, they've been doing
There's a guy in the shop was on the 2000 AC for $50 or whatever. He's not the guy you need to go see.
Well, no, therein lies another subject that I mean, you can't. You said something that was really important, and that is, if we do introduce Freon into the car, and I don't care what kind it is, we have to do what, guys?
Have a license.
Well, we do have to have a license. You know what I mean? You have to have your guys certified, 609 at the minimum, right? But the key is, you have to know absolutely how much product you're using, which means you have equipment, you're trained, and
Measures it down to the 10th of an ounce.
And what about the oil? You got to make sure you got the right oil that's compatible with what we put into it.
And then that's backwards. And you talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, you just talked about having a license to put in there. Unfortunately, the problem with that is that you can still go to a parts store trying to buy Freon and put it in your car. Right. And they got these little cans and they got the sealer and all that stuff in it.
Which is
It's
violent. Terrible.
Whatever it is, your
That'll grenade our equipment. We can't even. We have identifiers now. We literally have to take a sample before we can hook up our equipment because I did destroy a piece of equipment, $9,000, and I was like, oh, and it just makes you sick. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, oh, but to the point. And I love that you brought this up. Yes, in the old days, we grabbed a can of Freon.
Yeah.
We used sight maps, or we used the sense of feel, and when we got our hand out there on the
Oh yeah. On the evaporator.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, look at the accumulator.
Accumulator sweating.
Unless we did it, yeah.
We're going to call that the Wild West and cowboy days. I know what, guys, there's still so many people out there trying to live those days. But just like everything else with automobiles, it has advanced so far, you know what I mean, that it's got to be so much more specific. And I think that's what's happening. People are still trying to run in generalities, and they're not getting specific. This is kind of what my wife was saying. Lee, if you're trying to run general, take to the point. What is an AC service? There's a lot involved. And you know what? The reason why there's a cost equated with what we're doing,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's because we are doing so many different things. I mean, I love linear analysis. Of course, once again, I'm in the industry, but about the breakdown of the different components of the doors and how they operate and interact. And you know what? It's a well-oiled machine how these systems now have to operate. If we lose a fan, what happens? What happens if the cooling system's not working real well?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, there's complementary systems that could have been they're not working. You're like, oh my gosh.
the metamorphs of anything. Let's take the telephone. And Alexander Graham Bell invented the phone, and then they went to the dial phone, then they went to the digital, push button phones, and then they went to the wireless phones. Then they went to mobile. Yeah. And the stuff that's operating off of satellites in the atmosphere, the auto industry has morphed along with that, along those very same lines, and they've become so sophisticated that most people, if they're smart, take their car to a service center, trusting that they know all about the nomenclature of their latest and greatest invention, made in a Frankenstein lab somewhere in Detroit or wherever it's made. And the fact is, a lot of shops have not kept up the training. They do not know how to work on these things. They don't know anything about electric vehicles, hybrids, and they have very unique AC systems, air conditioning, climate control systems. They are way different than the regular kinds of cars. The compressors themselves and the components that operate them and run them are very unique.
They don't even have belts.
It's an electric compressor. The motor is in the compressor itself, right? And if you introduce the wrong oil into those, you'll blow up the compressor, and you could cost that customer $5,000 to $10,000 worth of damage. You don't know what you're doing, and that's why having experienced techs will have not only the knowledge but the equipment, which is very expensive. Lee mentioned a $9,000-$10,000 AC machine. That's what they cost these days.
Yeah, they're expensive.
It's not the set of dangers, and you're just randomly.
Those days are over, guys.
Yeah,
And each refrigerator has its own specific type of connector that gauges on, so you can't make a mistake, put the wrong stuff in there.
the hard part is, and the things that I guess I hope that we can get out to the listening audience is that although you can go to your different variety of places and buy Freon and shoot them, you talked about the sealants and all that kind of stuff, and the Fran that you can do it. Guys, those days are really past, and they sell those things because they want you to do that. But in a lot of cases, we're doing way more harm than good because the nature of air conditioning or climate control now is that you have to be exacting. You can't be 2 and 3 ounces over. Where in the old days, R12, who cared? I mean, it was cold, bubbles were gone. We never took into account humidity. We never took into account any of that. We just said, yeah, it's good. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're good. Healed.
Now, to your point, if you're 1 2 ounces off, you're 25 to 30, 35% off.
And what are you wearing out? Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's not gonna cool like it should be.
No, it won't be cold. And that's how many things do we get? I mean, this is another thing. heat is such a fact that, you know what, sometimes people come in and they really don't understand the math, because math doesn't lie. But the math says that if we're 115 degrees outside, okay, what is the best that we can actually hope for to get in our vehicles here in Arizona? What's the best that we can actually, well, supposed to, is called ideal as far as the standard.
Ideal is 50 to 58 degrees, maybe.
But not in 115 degree weather.
Yeah.
See, the thing of it is, it's a 30-degree change. So if you take 30 from 115, 85 would be acceptable. You see what I mean? But who thinks 85 is acceptable?
Yeah, no.
They're still sweating.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But yet, the thing of it is, in some applications, it's just like, we talked about earlier, everything has to be optimized to its highest efficiency.
Right. Well, part of the problem too is that you can have great duct temperatures, but if your doors aren't sealing right, your windows aren't sealing right, you're sucking hotter, and especially when you put it on recirculation, it's actually pulling and recirculating the same air inside the vehicle. That's one key to getting it a little bit cooler. But if your windows and your doors aren't sealing right, because the rubber is worn up because of our extreme heat again, but the rubber seals that are on your doors and stuff, they're actually pulling more hot air in from the outside. And you never get your, even though your duct temperatures feel cool, you don't feel cool inside the car. You don't have windows in on your windows.
Yeah.
The sun is penetrating right into there, heating up you and your interior. And if you have leather interior, it's even worse. So what do? You need to have your windows in it. Costs extra money, but man, and the ceramic stuff that they have now is unbelievable. It reduces the sun's penetration level to about 10 or 15% of what it would be if you didn't have any at all.
Well, and I think you mentioned this before in a previous podcast, and that was, just putting a little sunshade up in our window.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, look, when it's so hard, you can't do that when you're driving down the road.
No.
So it's kind of hard to see through.
To both of your points,
He's up in the series.
that 240 doesn't work. Right, 115 degrees.
That's correct.
You can't roll down both windows and drive 40 miles an hour and stay cool. That just ain't gonna work that way. Maybe if you took a bag of ice and put it on your lap, that might help. That might be.
That was in the point.
Then you
Make all that bad going in hand.
See, 240 enhanced. Oh yeah, that's the XL version.
Yeah. Well, I was at an AC class, a month and a half ago, and it was a new concept that was introduced in that I thought, my goodness, I now, in just listening here, I'm understanding how this applies. Okay. Looking at our HVAC industry outside of automotive. Okay. How very good about telling you, you should have AC service done every year and get these checks and stuff like that. In this class, the instructor said, based on the cowboys that we got out there, right? Every year we should be selling a AC service. We should be selling that. All right, as a service, based on the simple fact is, do you know what, Billy Bob or Henry or George or anybody else get to this system along the way or along its path of course of life? We don't. And you know what? Every year, do the AC service as a check, for our consumer, our customers, to make sure that they have everything optimized so that we can get the cold air like you're talking about. We can prolong the life of all the components that are there. We can double check to see if there's codes in the systems. And you know what? It just makes so much sense because, listen, one of the most expensive jobs that we do on cars is when we have a catastrophic system failure. Okay? I mean, engines, transmissions, suspension, air conditioning. Those are your top.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing of it is, in Arizona, we have more air conditioning failures than other locations.
Oh, yeah, they're running on what, 10, 12, 10, 11 months out of the year?
Absolutely.
It's even in the wintertime, you're running.
And so the key to that is we really, in order to provide the best service for our clients, we have to make sure that we're staying up to speed on everything that we're talking about, but also that we can help them understand, educate them that, this is why we want to do this service. Because we want to make sure that everything is optimized. Because it was to your point. When an AC system fails, it never fails at the opportune time.
No, never.
And
it'll go in the winter where you don't need it.
It'll go just like that. But you know what? To the flip side of that, and this just applies to anything that would be mechanical.
Yeah.
Just like you were talking about your van.
Where did you out? That's when you snack it. Where did
Yeah.
you lay on the TV? That's not my finger.
So, but to your point, like you were talking about your van in a previous episode, you would change the fluid routinely. You know what? We should do the same thing with our air conditioning routinely. And it's not a system that is supposed to lose freedom.
Yeah.
It's not.
No,
This system
they do. It's like your tires. Your tires are supposed to leave out either, but they do somehow up through osmosis. It just kind of disappears. And the most common problem we found with leaks is the Schrader valve.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
put the free on the end and extrapolate it out and
Dude,
put it in the system.
Those have changed too, and they do have a lot of problems.
They
Yeah.
do.
I mean,
They're more problematic than I've ever seen
So,
before.
so guys, to wrap this thing up, I think we gave us some really good tips on air conditioning here.
I always get good tips, especially if the winter is really exceptional.
Yeah, well, that's really good. Really good. I knew you were a generous person. So,
I just need water.
is there any final thing you'd like to say, one of you, that about air conditioning?
You know what? The only thing I would say is, like I say, don't take it lightly. If there's something, once again, it goes down to don't let little things become big. Right. If it's
Deodorant inspecting. That's your option right there. Is get your air conditioning like you do your house.
Yeah.
You know, get your air conditioning because we know when it's going to fail the hottest day of the year.
And one of the things that I hope to maybe do at some point is take advantage of when people are giving you an opportunity and take advantage of savings, because the reality of it is it's expensive enough, but take advantage.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, the cost of refrigerants has exponentially exploded when R134A, which is still the most common one that's out there. Yeah,
Most affordable.
Just be able to buy a 30-pound jug of this stuff for about $45.
So I'm bored.
And now it's about
$300.
$300. So, and that's cost to us as consumers. And that's when you buy them in big quantities, you know. And so it's really, you have to understand that none of this stuff is cheap, but neither is letting problem go with your vehicle, because as that problem exacerbates itself, you're going to spend a hell of a lot of money to get your air conditioner or anything that makes any garbage. If it doesn't seem right, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't, then it checks. You know, we don't want to make you paranoid, but if something doesn't feel like it used to feel when you just got the vehicle, there's probably something going on. So better to get it checked, better remedy before it costs you about more than
Get it checked out. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing the show with me, and I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate both of you.
Like I said, we got 140 years worth of experience. We could talk until the cows come home, but I'm glad to be there with two people so knowledgeable and such experts, have such great experience. We've all been heavily trained in this stuff, and you know, we can really give you some great advice. If you have any questions, you can always contact us through the Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave podcast, and ask your questions. We'll be glad to answer you, and maybe we can direct you to a good shop in your area.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Hey, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.